Hey, welcome to Slykday 2 of Discover Purpose Week of the Slykday 21-day program to discover, productize, and power your purpose with Slyk. Today's exercise is a little bit like yesterday's, which was expressing gratitude for the 3 people who have helped you reach this point on your journey. This one delves more into talent. What are you good at? What do other people think you're good at? And what do other people think your purpose is? So here's what I want you to do. Here's the exercise. It's really easy. It's actually quite fun. Pick a friend, one you trust, whose judgment you trust, who knows you, who's known you for a long time, preferably. Maybe someone you work with, maybe an old friend, maybe an old teacher, maybe even your parents, because I think that oftentimes our parents know us a lot better than we think they do, because we don't like to give them that credit, but in fact they know us really well. And today's exercise is to ask that person, first explain to them what you're doing. Take the purpose diagram, because I think it's a really interesting thing to share with people. Share it with them, that intersection of what you're good at, what you love to do, what you want to give to the world, and what you can get paid for. Explain to them that you are trying to iterate and figure out what your purpose is, because you want to turn it into an online business that makes you money and makes you happy. And ask them what they think you're good at and what they think your purpose is. I think you'll find out a lot from those discussions. If you can't get in touch with the person you want, pick someone else. Don't stall. Don't stop. Keep moving forward. Startups and entrepreneurship is all about momentum. So keep going. You got this. Slykday 2, Naval Ravikant tweets. These tweets, there are 2 of them. The first one says, understand that ethical wealth creation is possible, because if you secretly despise the idea of creating wealth for yourself and others, then you're not going to be able to achieve it. Why? Because you'll be repelled by that thing that supposedly you're pursuing. So understand that it's possible to create ethical wealth. And in my own life, I've lived that from my first startups in Mexico to Uphold, which gave people, millions of people, access to Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, to AirTM, which gave everyone in the world a dollar account, which helped them to survive the debasement of their local money and hyperinflation in Venezuela and lots of other countries now. With Kadu, which helped people reach their fitness goals in this world where there's lots of temptation to be unhealthy. And finally with Slyk, which I think is for me, the one that does it the most, because it empowers people to be entrepreneurs, to take those little risks and have the potential of creating a big upside. And the Slykday program, which is what you're doing right now with me, which helps people align their inner with their outer, their inner purpose with their outer purpose. So the first tweet is, you can't despise wealth if you want to try to create it. That's the first thing. And you got to understand that it's possible. In fact, I would say quite possible, quite easy to create startups, to create wealth that actually help people. You don't have to invent, the next way to consume tobacco. You can create stuff that really helps people. And that's what I've done, and you can do it too. The second tweet from Naval is to ignore people playing status games. And this is hard. This is very hard. It's very hard for me because I am, like most people, I want people to admire me. I want people to think I'm awesome. I want people to think that my startups are great and that I'm a super duper great entrepreneur. But you gotta ignore the people that are playing those one-up games to create status for themselves, whether it's on social media or anywhere else, or even when you meet them in person. They are ripping people down so they can go up. You and what we're doing here with Slykday are creating alignment of our inner purpose with our outer purpose to create abundance and to do things that we want to do to get paid and to contribute to the world. So those 2 tweets are real powerful. Think about them in the context of your startup and in what we're doing, and get after it. You can do it. The listen part of this Slykday 2 is so awesome that I suggest you start walking and don't stop until you finish listening to the whole 3.5 hours of this epic Naval Ravikant podcast, which is complementary to our his wealth creation framework that is expressed in his tweets. In fact, it's derived from it, and it is an elaboration of all the ideas that he so concisely puts in his tweet storm. And it is full of great wisdom, information, practical knowledge, and it really makes his framework a lot more digestible and easier to understand than just reading his tweets. Now, it's a long podcast, so maybe, and I've listened to it. I can't remember how many times I've listened to it. I have no way of knowing, because all the time when I was building Slyk, I was listening to it amongst other sort of wealth creation, entrepreneur, startup wisdom from people like Scott Adams, lots of different people. And we'll talk more about those later in other Slykdays. But for today, put on your shoes, go for a nice walk, plan a hike, and make sure you have enough charges in your in your AirPods or your whatever you listen, however you listen to your podcast. Walk, listen, and learn. And it'll take a while for you to digest everything, and you might not complete the entire podcast. Go for half of it. I think that's what we're going for today. Listen to half of it, and we'll do the other half some other day. But it's really powerful. I highly recommend it, and it's a great complement for both the exercises we're doing for Slykday and for understanding Naval's tweets that we're picking through and talking about during this Slykday 21-day program. So good luck, have a great walk, and enjoy the podcast.